Yo, 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 Danny Tom's here to rock your dome, spitting knowledge about the blockchain. And welcome home to P2E Inferno. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get started on the blockchain journey with Ethereum. So, this video is for beginners and those that's looking to get started on the blockchain journey. Maybe you've heard about the blockchain, Web3, Ethereum, dApps, or decentralized applications, and you want to get involved, you want to get started, but you haven't been able to figure that out, or it seems a little complicated and you want to get some help with that. Well, you've come to the right place. So this video is going to walk you through how to get started and show you the next steps. Now I'm going to be releasing some follow-up videos to help walk you through the process to get used to using applications on the blockchain, on Ethereum to be specific. But this video is going to be focused on the first step, what you need to do to get started today. So by the end of this video, you're going to know what you need to do to get started. As a matter of fact, you follow along with me. By the end of this video, you would actually have your own wallet, and I mean your own self-custodial wallet. It's yours. No one else can control it, and you'd be able to interact with some smart contracts right away if you wanted to. So let's dive in. So we're going to be talking about wallets. And we're talking about wallets because that is really the first entry point into the blockchain. Wallets are like the gateway for you to get started, for you to interact with the applications on the blockchain. So before you can actually talk about using applications, you want to actually know about wallets. You want to have your wallet ready. So we're going to be talking about types of wallets, forms of wallets. We're going to touch on popular wallets out there, and I'm also going to talk about some security tips for you to actually protect your wallet and keep your funds safe. So before we get started, a little disclaimer: none of this are financial advice, and it's not even security advice. Crypto is risky and you could lose what you put in. So do your own research and don't use more than what you can afford to lose. Now, with that said, let's get right into it. So let's talk about wallets now. On the blockchain, you have what are called smart contracts. And basically what that means are a smart contract is an application that is built on top of the blockchain. Now, to interact with smart contracts, you need an account. So you can think of a wallet as something that holds accounts. Now, if you think about the practical sense of a wallet in real life, a wallet basically holds things. You can put in your driver's license, you could put in your money or any other identity that you have. So it basically holds things. So a wallet does the same thing. A wallet holds accounts, and accounts are the things that interact with smart contracts on the blockchain. So you can think of it as this. You have a smart contract or a decentralized application that's on the blockchain on my left hand side, and then you, the user, is on the right hand side, and you want to interact with this application. But on the blockchain or in Web3, you can't just do that like you would on the normal Web 2, where you would just go to the website, log in with your username and password, or you can use your social media accounts like Facebook or Google and just sign in. On the blockchain, you would need to have an account to talk to that application. And so you can think of an account as a digital representation of the individual, because that account would be able to do things on your behalf. It would be able to, move funds around, sign messages that actually indicate that this thing was done by the owner of this account, which happens to be someone or some individual or some entity. So it actually is a representation of the individual or an entity on the blockchain, and wallets hold these accounts. Now, there are actually two main types of wallets. There's what we call an externally owned account and a smart contract wallet. Those are the two types of wallets that we have. And there's also forms of wallets, which really isn't a thing, actually. I basically just made up that category because it actually makes sense to me that I would call it forms. So we have like hardware and software wallet. So that's why I kind of call it forms. It's like a software and then there's like the hardware. So they're in like different forms. So before we go a little too deep into the types, let's go back up a little bit and talk about externally owned accounts and smart contract wallets, which are the two types of wallets that we have. So an externally owned account is basically a type of wallet that is controlled by a user. So you can think of it like you have a wallet, but in order for you to be able to do anything with that wallet, you need to actually come and make take the action. You need to come and take the action before that wallet can do anything. So you need to initiate the action. That's why it's an externally owned account. So something external needs to initiate the action. The other type of wallets that we have are smart contract wallets. And those types of wallets are basically kind of like the same thing as the applications that live on the blockchain that we talked about, which are like smart contracts, the decentralized applications. These smart contract wallets are basically code that has been written and deployed on the blockchain that are actually wallets. So as a result of that, they have more flexibility than the traditional externally owned accounts that needs some external entity to be able to initiate a transaction. A smart contract wallet, once you write any arbitrary code, it can be executed on the blockchain. And so it's basically like a smart contract wallet. You can program and you can make it do so many things. So the most popular type of wallet right now is actually the externally owned accounts because it's pretty simple to get a hold of it. It's straightforward. That's what most people use. But if you have a lot of funds and you have a lot of assets, it's always advisable to have some of your assets stored in a smart contract wallet because of there's a couple of things that can be programmed into the smart contract wallets that is just not possible for an externally owned account because it's really not a smart contract, it's just a wallet. So now to the forms of wallets, we have the software, which is usually mobile based or web based. So, usually, if you're looking at types of wallets, you might see things like externally owned accounts, smart contract wallets, software, hardware, mobile, web based. They kind of like jumble all of these things and put it together as types of wallets, which is really what it is. But I'd like to classify them in different categories like this. The types are basically the externally owned accounts and the smart contracts wallet, because basically even the mobile wallet and the web-based wallet and the hardware wallet, they are basically all under externally owned accounts. And then you still have like the software wallets that are smart contract wallets, so they are basically under the smart contract wallets. So it's kind of obvious that there's really two types, and then there are like different forms of those types. So when you're talking about software, we have like two types of software, or two classes if you want to use a different word other than types. So we could say we have the mobile based, which good examples of that would be the Trust Wallet. That's really popular. And there's also a new one called the Uniswap Wallet. And if you're looking at the web-based wallet, one of the most popular ones is the MetaMask, and there's a bunch of others out there as well. So that's about software wallets, and then there's the hardware wallets. And the hardware wallets, we've got things like the Ledger, which is really popular, and there's also another one called the Trezor. That's also a very popular hardware wallets. And most people, once you have a certain amount of assets, once you're comfortable with the space, you've been using a couple of smart contracts and you kind of feel comfortable, you might want to get yourself a hardware wallet. So on to popular wallets. Most of the popular wallets are Trust Wallet. It's really popular. There's MetaMask. There's also Coinbase Wallet, the Uniswap Wallet. I've mentioned a couple of these before. There's also Coin 99. There's a lot of popular wallets out there, but for this video though, we're going to use the MetaMask wallet. So right now we're at the practical point of the video. So if you want to actually get started on the journey, this is the part where you need to follow along. So I am going to be using a mobile emulator for this, because a lot of people watching and a lot of people out there are usually on mobile, so they're going to be on their phones, and some people might find it confusing. How do I do this here? Like showing it on a desktop and I'm on a phone. and they feel kind of stuck. They can't follow along. So I decided to do this on mobile. So I'm using a mobile emulator on my PC to show this, and it's BlueStack. So I'm going to go to the Play Store. It's actually Android, but it's pretty much the same thing on iOS. So if you are on iOS, you'll go to your App Store, but we're on Android. So I'm going to go to the Play Store, head to the search, and type in MetaMask. Hit enter, and you're going to find this Fox icon here. Click install. So we wait for a bit for this to install. It's gonna take a while. All right, so it looks like the MetaMask has finished downloading. So let's open it up. So this is how it looks. The first time you get into MetaMask, you're going to see this screen. So you're going to click on get started, and here they're going to ask you to either import an existing wallet or create a new wallet. So if you've done this before, you would want to import an existing wallet. So you would click on this, and they're going to show you a bunch of uh, words for you to put in. So let me click on that just real quick so you can see what happens if you do this. A bunch of notifications here for you to read through. But basically what you want to do is click on agree, accept the terms, close this out, accept. So right here, you want to paste your recovery phrase, and you want to put in your password. You confirm your password, and then you would click import. So you might be wondering, what is this recovery phrase? So let's go back so I can show you what that is. So you now want to click create new wallet because you don't have a wallet right now. So before you do this, I would advise you to get a pen and a paper right now. Pause the video right now. Get a pen and a paper because I'm going to need you to write this down. Don't put this off for later. Don't say I'm going to go do this later. Let me just watch the video, and I'm going to take a screenshot and whatever. Just forget about that. Pause the video right now. Grab a pen and a paper real quick and write this down. So I'm going to click on create new wallet. First, they're going to ask me for a password, and I'm just going to put in something really complex. Yeah, you definitely want to use something much more complex for your password, but this is just a walkthrough. So okay, it says it's super weak. Let's see, what do I add here? I'm gonna add x y z. Okay, let's add x y z to this, and it still won't let us create this password. What else can we add? And still won't. Can we remember this at all? What are we doing here? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it won't because the passwords didn't match. I missed one digit. So I'm going to put in 8 here, and boom. Now I'm going to take away some of this because it's like super complicated and I don't want to actually forget this now. So this looks simple enough. But again, you want to do something more. Of course, you want to use something that you're going to remember, but definitely not something like this. But I just want to show this so you would be able to follow along. So we're going to click create password, and it'll take a moment, and they're going to talk about our recovery phrase. And so let's take a moment to talk about this recovery phrase, this phrase that they're talking about: secure your wallet. So they're telling us don't risk losing your funds. Protect your wallet by saving your secret recovery phrase in a place you trust. It's the only way to recover your wallet if you get locked out of the app or get a new device. And that says it all pretty much. So click on this and start. It's gonna ask us to confirm a password and XYZ. confirm that. Okay, so this is where we are, and this is the recovery phase. So now I want to talk a little bit about the recovery phase just to drive home really what this is. So this recovery phrase is also known as a seed phrase. And really what this is something that allows you to generate your wallet. That's why it's kind of like a seed. So this seed generates a private key, which I really didn't want to get into all of this to so I don't complicate things for you beginners, but it would be really good for you to know what happens behind the scenes. So the whole blockchain and the crypto space is based on cryptography, and that is like a tech that is based on some complex math. And I'm not a math genius. I don't basically see myself as someone that knows math at all. So I'm not really qualified to talk about math in any way. But basically, what you want to know is the blockchain is based on cryptography. And with cryptography, you have things like private keys that allows you to sign transactions. And so um, when you interact with a smart contract on the blockchain, you are basically signing transactions. Because remember, I mentioned things you do on the blockchain is basically transactions, and these your accounts, which the wallet holds, are the ones that's doing that transaction. But basically, what happens behind the scene is there's a private key behind each account that signs transactions on the blockchain. And what happens is this seed phrase generates the private key that is used to sign the transactions for the accounts. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, go back and play this back once more time so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So you really want to keep this private, this secret recovery phrase. You want to keep it safe, because if someone else were to get a hold of it, that person would be able to basically generate your private key, and that would allow the person to sign transactions on your behalf. And basically, what that means is that person would be able to do anything from sending your funds to a different account to accessing all of the smart contracts that you've interacted with, and whatever value that you have stored on them, they will be able to control that, which means they will be able to take it or do whatever they wanted with it, and you don't want that. So it is very, very important for you to keep this safe. And so it is recommended that you don't put this online, you don't save it somewhere online. That is why I told you guys to get a pen and a piece of paper so you can write this down and save it in an offline location. Maybe you can put it in your file, put it in the safe. You can also put it in a bank. Just keep it somewhere safe where you keep all of your really important stuff. So, with that said, I'm going to click view, and there's a bunch of words here. So, I'm going to see, I can't copy this. All right, this is how do I how do I do this? I can't seem to copy this because it's not like a desktop where I can just like copy, excuse me, where I could just copy the words. But basically, you want to write this down, and I am trying to think about what I can do. Let's see, do we have a screenshot? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and type it. So, we're going to need notepad. That's right. I think we got it all down. So let's move, continue. So the reason I wanted to write that down is because they were always going to ask for this, and you want to actually click the words accordingly. So the first word is cricket. So click on cricket, and then there's try. Next there's possible, and there's peanut, dismiss, affair, barrel, practice, repeat, rack, audit, and field. So click on this and we get confetti. Oh yeah, cool. So, and that's it. We have our wallet set up. We want to enable that. No thanks. We don't want to take a tour. I'm going to be taking you on the tour. So we don't need them to take us on the tour. So once you do that, you would have your wallet set up. So I'm going to take a moment to walk you through this interface so you know exactly what is going on here. And after that, we're going to talk a little bit about security tips and next step, and that then we'll call it a wrap. So over on the top left side, we have this little menu that's this hamburger, three horizontal lines. It's the menu where you open up the options and the navigation of the MetaMask application. So when you click on that, you can see your account. And remember, I said your wallet holds different accounts. So you can have more than one account on this wallet. If you click on this, basically you can click on this little down arrow here and this pops up and you can create a new account. So this is account one. Let's just go ahead and create a new account. And now we have account two. So we have two accounts and we can switch between accounts. So we have switched to account one now, and this is where you can send funds. And if you wanted to receive, you can add funds. You can click on this and it shows you a barcode. So you can send this barcode to your friends or your family or whoever you want, and they can actually send money to your address with this barcode. Or you can copy your address by clicking this copy button and you can send that to them. Or the third thing you can do is you can request payment by clicking this, and it's going to um, ask you to select the asset. If you want Ether or some other asset that you have here, you can select it, and it's going to ask you for the amount. You would put in some random amount, and you click on next. It's going to generate a link, and you can send this link to someone, and it's going to basically be like an invoice that have the person pay you this specific amount that you entered. So I'm gonna close this out, open back the menu, and you can also share your address, which is the same thing as copying your address. You can decide to view your address on Etherscan. We're going to talk a little bit about Etherscan later, but that's not in the scope of this video. So next thing that we want to do is um, close this out. That's what we want to talk about for this menu. So right here in the middle, you'll see something that has a drop down menu. This is a drop down menu, and you see it has the tag Ethereum main network. So this is the specific network that the wallet is pointing to. So we're going to talk about networks in a separate video, but basically for this you want to know that if you want to switch your network from the any network on Ethereum to another, this is where you can do that easily. You can click on this drop down. You're going to see the list of networks that you've added to your wallet, and you can easily just switch by selecting. So this is one, and they're going to tell you, hey, things to keep in mind: the native token on this network is Gorley ETH. It is a token used for gas fees, blah blah blah. You're gonna just tell them, yeah, I got it, no problem. And the next thing that's by the top right hand corner is scanning. This is like the symbol for a scanner, and that's to scan a QR code. So I'm gonna click on allow, and this basically shows me upside down, weird. So that would be if you wanted to scan a QR code. Maybe sometime I'm going to show you a different use case for this, but for now that's what this is, scanning a QR code. So over here is the same thing as this. You can use this to switch accounts. So if you click on this, you would see account two, and you can switch accounts from there. Here you can actually copy your address, and this beneath that we have tokens. So if you had different tokens, I'm going to switch the network to Ethereum mainnet. If we have any token here, okay, we don't, we only have Ethereum. So basically, if you had tokens, other tokens on the blockchain, there are different tokens like USDT, USDC, DAI, Uniswap, so many tokens. If you had them, you would see them on this token tab. You will notice there's another thing by the right hand side that's NFTs. So you can switch to this if to see your NFTs. There's a little pop up here that says allow MetaMask to automatically detect NFTs from OpenSea and display in your MetaMask wallet. Turn on NFT detection in settings. If you click on this, it should take you to that settings, and you can just click on this toggle enable auto detect, enable blah this, and come over to the top right hand and click the back arrow to go back. But we don't have any NFT, so you're not going to see anything. You would click on tokens and leave it there. So that talks about the upper part of the interface. Now if you look at the bottom, you're going to see a couple of things. There's three icons here, and these three icons mean different things. This has the symbol of a wallet, which is where we are right now. This is your wallet. And this that has two arrows facing opposite direction is used to swap tokens, and that's something that we're also going to talk about in a later video. But on the blockchain on Ethereum, you can basically swap tokens from one to another, just like magic. You can just have one token and you swap it to another thing. So that's what you would do. So if you click on this, there's a bunch of options here. You can buy, swap, send, receive. So you can see the swap has the directions, the arrow facing opposite directions, because it's kind of what you do. You like swap token from one to another. So if you wanted to buy with cash from your credit card, you can do it right here in this MetaMask. Or if you wanted to send tokens to someone. So in the next video, we're going to talk about, we're going to go through some of these things, buying, not definitely not buying, we're going to, go through swap, send, receive, and all of that. So that's that. And finally, on the right hand side, we have this, which is actually a browser. So with this browser, you can actually visit dApps on your MetaMask, and you will be able to interact with them. So before I close this video out, I want to show you how you would use your wallet to interact with smart contracts. And one of the most popular decentralized applications that everyone loves to use is Uniswap. So I'm going to go to Uniswap. Oh, look, it's right here, Uniswap. So I'm just going to click on that, and I want to show you how to interact with a smart contract to wrap this video up. So you would know how to do this from your mobile devices. And this is pretty much the same thing on web as well. So once the website loads, the website URL is actually app.uniswap.org. Once it loads up, you're going to click connect and select the MetaMask, and this is going to pop up. And basically what this thing asks you to do is it wants you to connect your wallet to the application, and that is how you're going to be able to interact with the smart contract. It wants you to connect your account. Remember, we say your account can have multiple, sorry, your wallet can have multiple accounts. So it's asking you to connect your account to the application. So it's telling you, hey, you want to interact with this application, you need to connect an account that is going to talk to the application. And you have two accounts inside of this wallet because we created a new one. So you can select any one, but we want to stick with account one. But just so you know, for whatever reason you wanted to use the account two, you would just click on it here like this, and it would become this, and then you would click connect. But let's go back to account one, and then you would click connect. And once you do that, you would find that your account is now connected with the application. If you click on this top right corner here, you will see that your account is now connected with this application, and you can start interacting with it. This is an application that allows you to swap, and obviously there's a buy, which I really have not used before because I've never had the need to. So the only thing I come here to do is swap tokens. So this is one very useful application on the blockchain, and definitely on your journey you're going to interact with it a lot. So maybe you might want to take note of the application and how it's used. There's at the bottom there's tokens, so you can see some of the popular tokens on Ethereum. There's Ether, there's USD coin, popularly known as USDC, USD Tether, USDT, wrapped BTC. Wrapped BTC is a representation of Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain. So on the blockchain, there are different blockchains, or in the world of crypto, there are different blockchains. There's the Bitcoin blockchain, there's the Ethereum blockchain, there's the Solana blockchain, there's the Tron blockchain, there's so many different blockchains. So usually these blockchains are separate from each other. They're like different worlds that you can go into. So right now, this is Ethereum. So everything that you do on Ethereum is based on the Ethereum blockchain, and you can't really interact with things that are on the Bitcoin blockchain because it's a different blockchain. So this wrapped BTC is a representation of Bitcoin on Ethereum that allows you to basically have Bitcoin to do things in what is called DeFi, decentralized finance. So that's something that we're also going to talk about in subsequent videos. But just what you want to know right now is wrapped BTC is a representation of Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain, which people use to do things in DeFi applications. So next thing that we have here are NFTs. This is going to show you the top NFTs and the prices and stuff like that. And you might, so if you wanted to purchase these NFTs, you might just be able to do it from here. So we've got like CryptoPunks, Art Blocks. I don't know these guys. CryptoPunks is really popular, basically. Terraforms by Matt Castles. I don't know these guys. Azuki is also a really popular one. Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Man, there's like so many NFTs. If you scroll, you're gonna see a lot of them. So pools, and this is a more complex thing, and we're going to talk about this when we are talking about DeFi. It's not beginner stuff. So this is pretty much all you need to know about the application right now. So just to round off on the browser interface for the MetaMask application, over at the bottom, this is the back and the forward button, and they allow you to navigate the previous and the next page. Obviously there's no next page right now because you haven't gone anywhere. Like if you were to go back, then you would be able to use this next button because you've gone back, and you will go back to the page that's after this. So this is a search feature that allows you to like go to a website from here, but we don't want to go anywhere, so I'm going to cancel that. And if you wanted to open up a new tab, you would click on this and click on the plus button, and you know, you can click on this search now and type google.com, and here we are at google.com. So it's basically a web browser, but this is a web3 web browser that you have on your smartphone now. So we're going to head back to Uniswap, and this is the home button. You can click on that to go back to the home page. You can also use this back button to go back to the Uniswap page that we were just on. If maybe you clicked on the home button by mistake and you didn't want to leave, this back button is a great way to get back to where you were. And finally, this three dots is all of the options that's available. And this button, this here adds Uniswap to your favorite, and is something that I would recommend you do because you're going to be using Uniswap a lot. So I'm going to click on this and click add to favorites, Uniswap, and just click add. And there's open in browser. We don't want to do that. If we go to new tab, let's see where we would find our favorites, and look right at the home page. There's another, there's tab here, so you can click on this to see all of the websites that you've added to your favorites, or you can click on this and you can see things, some of the bookmarked websites that are there by default on the MetaMask application. So with that, we're wrapping up the video on the wallets. And so let's talk a little bit about security tips. So first thing that I said is you want to write the seed phrase down. You want to make sure that you don't have it in a digital space unless you have a really secure password keeper, password manager where you would use to store your stuff. But even at that, it is really not recommended for you to have it online. You want to keep your seed phrase offline. But some people employ some complex tactics where they could have a password manager, and then they could store their seed phrase there for like an auxiliary wallet, not like their main wallet. So you would have different wallets. You could save your seed phrase for that wallet in a password manager, a password keeper that's secure. And then for their real their main wallet, they can have the secret phrase stored offline. Maybe they would put it in a bank. They could put it in their box, lock the box, and keep it in their house. Obviously, you want to have copies, so you might want to keep another copy in maybe your parents' house, in a box in your parents' house, just in case maybe there's something like maybe a fire or whatever. You know, you want to have another copy somewhere else. And uh, I think those are pretty much the ways people secure their seed phrases. With that said, as soon as you can afford it, it's generally more advisable for you to get a hardware wallet because they are usually more secure than using a seed phrase. Also, a better alternative to using a typical seed phrase type wallet would also be to use a smart contract wallet. And that's because with a smart contract wallets, they can have things like social recovery. Maybe you can use some other mechanism to recover your account if you were to lose access to your account. And you can also have things like multi signatories. So maybe you might approve a couple of people to sign a transaction before funds are transferred out of your account. So you can have people like your friends, family member, or your spouse. So these are just some of the ways that you can use to secure your assets and your wallets. And that's about it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like and subscribe if you got any value, and I'll see you on the next one.